As you can see the agenda there, we have 6 items. The first one is the welcome and the purpose of the meeting. Next, we will update you regarding what is going on in the no-cost extension and some bits on how to, we are hoping to proceed with phase 2 of GREAT under the platform. Then we are also going to share about the phase 1 manual, which was trainer's manual, which was published by CABI. You must have hopefully have looked at it online. Well, number 4 is the heart of our meeting, really. We want to share some, highlights on what we expect in this advanced manual. And we want to show, you not to be, I know we are all very busy, so we thought we could lighten the load by sharing exactly what we expect, which we think won't take too much time, but definitely also get our product out for others to use. And Liz will take us through the CABI guidelines. We've used them before for those of us who are authors of the first manual, but a refresher of sorts, so that we are mindful of this as we write our manual. Yeah, proposed reviewers, yes. The manual, one of the products, actually at the end of the no cost, we are supposed to have a peer-reviewed manuscript. So we've thought through some proposals of reviewers and we'll get your reactions and suggestions on that as well. Next slide, please. Welcome remarks, actually, I've already given them. You are all very welcome. Always appreciative of the work that you do for GREAT and the fact that you've also accepted to be one of the authors for this course, so this trainer's manual. And yeah, we want to agree on the tasks and the timelines. Can take it on from there, Liz. Yes, update some of the key things to point out there is that the grant actually ended in December 2022 last year. We got a no cost up to July of this year, and that's why our timeline is really tight. By July, we must have all the outputs listed there, done, and in August is when phase 2 starts, which will be a different ballgame altogether. So Makere is responsible for those 2 outputs there. We are going to produce 3 journal articles from the research cluster work. We are leading that, and also this manual. And Cornell, our colleagues, are leading the other 2, policy brief and teaching case. Can continue. This background is important because it will inform what we write and how we present the manual. Because as I said, this output is for the bridging phase, and the bridging phase, to refresh our memory, was supposed to test out the relationship between GREAT and the gender platform. So that tripartite arrangement, Cornell, Makere, gender platform of the CG, and there were 2 key aspects, expanding topically and geographically, GREAT going beyond plant breeding topically and including seed systems, resilience, gender transformation, and feminist approaches. So we tested incorporating those in our level 1 manual. The other one was geographically expanding to South Asia beyond sub-Saharan Africa. So why this is that this manual that we are going to write now has those 4 topical aspects added. And while South Asia was a different course, we want to see how the materials of the advanced course can also take advantage of South Asia by way of illustrations, materials where relevant. And for those of you who are writing modules where this is relevant, you will see that we linked in the South Asia slides, not to ask you to do so much work in terms of change, but where possible, you can pull in an example, an illustration, so that the materials can also speak to that audience, because that was one of the aims of the bridging phase. And when we get to discussion, you can ask questions if that is not clear in any way. But that's the purpose of showing you the background or context within which we are writing this advanced level 2 manual. Next, please. So another update, which I've already mentioned, is the fact that phase 1 was published and CABI published it. So that manual is now online. Liz can open if the technology allows so that we see how it is being presented, the downloads that are happening. It's actually being well received. People are downloading and using it. So we are going to be building on this. So this is the manual. On the cover are the editors, but inside the different trainers were authors of their sessions. So you can open this and we see one of the sessions. Actually, while we are at it, the format would be best appreciated when colleagues look at it the way it appeared in the publication form. Maybe we'll get a technical session, which this is the welcome remarks. Okay, gender and agriculture development. So we would have the introduction session, which talks about the aim of the course, the session and its scope. Would have the session plan and description table with the learning outcomes therein, the pre-session preparations. You can go down, Liz. The timelines and room setup where relevant. For this particular one, we had some concepts and theory outlined, which wasn't the case for many others. And then the training guide, where we elaborate the actual process that one would go through in delivering this session, and some tips for trainers who would be using or adapting this module to another context. And we would have also, the slides, and there when we go there, one would click and go to the actual slides. The references were nicely packaged by CABI. But I'm sure in the guidelines, Liz will show us how to do better next time. This is an area where we struggled a lot in terms of time spent in aligning so that they are all, well fitting in with the template. Yeah, so let's go back to the deck, please. And this one is open access, so colleagues, you can look at it as you write if you have not done so already. Okay, so we can go to the next slide, and here, so this one, the manual that we are going to write is going to adopt the format that we used for level 1. And to mention there is that we signed up to the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation Open Access. So that's why all our materials have to be openly available. But feedback there, while we said the plan is proposal is to go back to CABI, we had some issues with them, and Liz, I'll give you audience also some time to share, because you really engaged a lot with them during the publication process. Sometimes they were not very receptive. We had to do a lot of the editing ourselves, even after we had paid them. But the advantage is that they are good at marketing, and what we want is that the money will be out there being used by others, so they do that. And we, as of now, don't know any other publisher that does these kinds of training type materials. So that's the feedback that we are requesting for there. Any other publisher you may recommend? You can also comment on the level 1 manual format. Is there anything else you would want us to change? Plus any other feedback that you may give that you want us to incorporate as we write this advanced manual. So over to you. I'm now keeping quiet to listen to you. And welcome, Lucera.
Thank you, Prof.
Yes, I don't know how much you had. I wasn't seeing the full screen while the slides were on. So, and I think, Lucera, you didn't lead the module for level 1, right?
No, Prof.
Okay, so you are actually our audience because we want to be sure that you understand. Richard, I think you wrote 1, right?
Yes, maybe more than 1, but yes, I did.
Okay. So those who, Lucera, you are the one who didn't write last time. So with the fresh set of eyes, you can comment. What do you think about the format? Can we do it differently? But even those of us who wrote, a module in the first one, please feel free to suggest where we can do better. We've also asked CABI to give us feedback. By the way, we are not committed to use them. We can always, we are clear that they don't have to be the ones to be contracted. But we requested that if they have any feedback for us, they give it to us. They haven't yet. Over to you, colleagues. And you can just unmute and speak.
Well, for me, it is just exciting to see this output. It's good to see this level of arrangement. And maybe I just look forward to see citations here and there back and forth by others. Of course, I think it's not like in the article kind of manuscript kind of publication. I think it's a unique product, and one has to appreciate that value and that contribution it makes vis-a-vis what we're used to in our heads. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's a very great opportunity, and we appreciate that this offer came across to us. That's to me. Except that I'm on the way, so I cannot open and then be able to view. I'm parked somewhere, so I could maybe have added a few more thoughts.
Okay. Thank you very much for that encouragement.
Thank you, Prof, and the team for working through this. I remember when we were working on different sections, there's a time when we met, I don't know which hotel, but we met and we worked through the guidelines as each one was working on their section. So it is very exciting to see the publication, and as Richard says, it is uniquely different from the other publications we are used to, journal articles, book chapters. This is much more practical, and I think if you recall the many trainings that we have been part of, either in gender or agriculture, there's a tendency to leave them there in the PDF, PowerPoint, and then you don't even return to it as an individual trainer. So to have materials put together in this coherent manner, to know how people can go through the training and to share it with the public, it's very exciting. So I opened, I looked at the layout. It looks great. I think being able to put this work out there for people to look at how these sessions are delivered is a great contribution, especially given that it's an open access thing. Maybe what I might want to ask is the rating of CABI in terms of how publishers are rated. How do you rate CABI as a publisher and the material that it has published within the academia, especially the universities that partnered Makerere? And you tend to have a list of things that are approved. They say publish here, publish there. And as we do publish, we also try to avoid journals that pilot or journals that are not approved. So in that way, how do we rate CABI? What is its history, and how does it rate globally in the communities that we work with, agricultural communities? Thank you.
Thanks, Amon. It's more in the development work types. It doesn't publish. I've not seen them publish academic pieces, so it's more like development work. But your question is very, very important, actually. People in agriculture, I mean, CABI is like a household name, so we know about CABI, and that's why we went to them. But I haven't looked at how they are rated, so that's homework, actually. Lucira, any comments? Godfrey, Richard?
I just look forward to the comment from private sector, Godfrey Kayobi.
Godfrey, say something.
No, actually, I don't have a lot to say, but I was just wondering whether during the interactions you had with CABI, where after we developed the drafts, were there some specific issues around the layout or the different sections where they had concerns with, which we could learn from as we tackle the level 2 manual?
Actually, for me, that was the disappointment. I'm used to more critical, maybe I don't know how they call those personalities. When somebody doesn't critique my work, I kind of think maybe they haven't engaged with it. And I didn't see as much critical engagement as I would have expected. But in terms of what I've heard about them, I mean, they've been around a while. So I had expected that there would be that, high-level publishing house that will critique our work, add value to it, improve it, and we didn't see it. That's what concerned me. Welcome, Grace. So thanks for making the effort to come. Yeah. I hope you are better.
Yes, I'm better. They have given me medication for 2 weeks.
Okay.
And the doctor thinks that will work. She will see me the other week again. So I'm going to buy the medication now.
We thank God for that.
Thanks for your prayers.
So you came when we were giving feedback, reacting. I know you were part of the trainer team that wrote the level 1 manual. So if you have any feedback on the format, on whatever, because we want to make a decision whether to publish with the same publisher, CABI, or go to someone else. So for me, that's one of the reasons why I had question marks on CABI, because we ended up critiquing ourselves even more internally. We could see things that we were not seeing. And yeah, but maybe because being academics, we critique ourselves more than people in development work. As I said, CABI is more, I've seen them publishing more development work, and that's why we went to them in the first place, because we want this to be a practitioner's manual. But I want to hear from others, and definitely we'll do our homework in terms of, you know, reading around how they are rated globally. Lucira, anything on CABI?
Okay, thanks, Prof, and thanks everyone. I think maybe just to say that I think in the agriculture, if we are to talk about agricultural development, agricultural research and development, I think CABI is well recognized. I think I want to say that it serves as a catalog where you can access different publications within agriculture, agricultural research and development. So I would think it's a credible publisher because of the kind of work that you find there. I don't know how best to explain it, but it hosts so many of agricultural research and development related material.
I agree with you there. Grace, you can speak. Go ahead, please.
Yes, I think I want to agree with I've also searched and seen that they produce a lot with Lucira. But I think one thing with such publishers, you need to do a step below before you get to them. I don't think and that would be like someone who is going to do the final editing after we have done, someone to do what was coming back and forth. Because for them, you know, they may not have all the capacities to do that. That's what I heard, that if you get someone else to really do those bits of back and forth, then you are good to go. And we may think of putting in that level if we go with them, but definitely it is popular, and I saw even the universities where it is referenced, and quite many and institutions, yeah.
Okay. And Grace, thanks for that submission. This time round, we have put in a layer of peer review. So, and the gender platform was very happy with that actually. So when we finish our bit, and we shall be asking you for feedback on the reviewers that could look at the manual, various sections of it. Okay, colleagues, let's now move on. Liz,
maybe to also add on.
Oh, okay, Liz, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I wanted to add on that our manual actually didn't have a technical editor, and that's one of the loopholes CABI had.
Oh. Technical editor, what does that mean, Liz?
To edit that technical content. The commissioning editor that we were assigned was to look at the typos, but not the technical aspects of the publication.
How do we get that in as a service? They say?
Maybe we could explore further and ask. Yes.
Okay. But anyway, this time around.
Prof, I made a comment.
Yes, please.
Yes, I just wanted to find out in terms of citation, for example, when you go to Google Scholar and put in the DOI, it actually doesn't bring it up. I don't know why. And then the other one, being the editors, I thought like you are the authors. I thought your names would, for example, come and then CABI International comes at the end. I don't know, why did they choose to do it the other way around? Like when I find a book that has been authored by you and Hali, for example, and it is done by SEG publishers, it would have your names come, and then the SEG publishers come at the end. Now here I would have expected the same, your names, and then CABI International comes at the end. I don't know Why was it done in the reverse?
By the way, I haven't noted that one.
I think, Lucilla, what you have said, that's what it should be. Otherwise, then it gets lost. Because people know certain authors. And so
Yeah.
you're very right, Lucilla. If that is the case, then I think that was an anomaly.
Okay. Let's pursue that. I hope, Liz, you captured that nicely, so that the mistakes that were made
Yes,
last
please.
time are not made again. But they can even
And
correct.
maybe, isn't that something they can rectify, the author order?
Yeah.
After all,
We
this is
will-
an
I think
online
they
thing.
can, because this is
We
an
will-
online material.
Okay. We'll find out, because we really want people to be able to find it. Okay. So let's continue, Liz, to the next, so that we can finish within the promised time. We are 30 minutes into the meeting. Okay. Thanks for that feedback. We've already done that. Maybe.
Prof, in your presentation, you had something around formatting. I don't
Yes.
know whether it's okay to comment about something.
Please. And actually, this one is also about formatting.
Oh, okay.
So let me, especially for the sake of you, Lucilla, and others who were not part of the first. So we wanted to make life easy for the people going to write. So that's why you see we pulled together information that's available and populated the template for you now to edit the write-up. So like now, that introduction, we would expect that it's really brief, half a page, and you will see that we pulled up, because this manual is building on to level 1. So we referenced sections or sessions in level 1, which we are building onto, and content from there that you can edit so that it flows. And therefore, someone who is referencing or using the advanced manual would have to go back to the level 1 and build the background. So that was the whole idea of the introduction, and the text that you saw we picked from the level 1. So you would improve on it. Then the session plan and description, that one is the table that we always have there. Again, there you can go and just edit. We have pasted information there. On the next slide, we talk about the other sessions. Liz, you can take us there. That step by step, that section on C is where much of the writing will be, but even that, not detailed. You can see in level 1 manual that it's about at most 3 pages, so 1 to 3 pages, where you now elaborate how the session flows with some tips for trainers. And yes, also the link to the slides is there. And we, for some sessions which were offered for South Asia, we linked it there, so that, as I said earlier, though you can pick examples or whatever, photographs that are not copyrighted can go in the slide deck, so that we show that we actually adapted geographically to South Asia. So that link beyond Sub-Saharan Africa would be important. Yeah. And then the references, as I said at the beginning, we had issues there for level 1 because many were not written as per the CABI guidelines. So this time around, we could pay more attention so that there isn't much work to make sure the alignment happens. Next, Liz, then I can give Lucilla the opportunity to share or to ask. Yes, that comment has already been made. And actually, all the comments on that slide have already been made. So over to you, Lucilla.
Okay, thank you so much, Prof. What I wanted to comment on was, for example, in the level 1, the photos are given as a list of photos, indicating plate 1, plate 2, like that, photo 1, like that. But then the photos in the text don't have captions. And I think from what you have just said, maybe partially can address that comment that I had, that probably instead of having the list there, like where we had it in the level 1, can we caption the photos in text and add photo credits where they are due or where they deserve, instead of just having them in the list somewhere, rather than having them in text? I don't know whether I'm clear. I'm not.
Liz is going to respond to that one. I know photos were.
Okay, and then the other one, in for example, in the level 1 manual, we have like day 1, day 2, how they flow. But then our thinking, could we probably think around these days? We know it was day 1 to day 9, 7. But then could we, like, instead of just saying day 1, could we come up with maybe a short theme that summarizes that day's focus? And maybe we say day 1, let's say delivering gender responsive research. So I'm just giving like an example. So could we like have some kind of themes for the day, and probably add on the day instead of just saying the day? Okay, that is all I had. They are both on formatting.
Okay. Thank you very much. Liz, on photos.
And maybe if I'm given, if our resources.
We've lost you. I don't know whether it's me, but. Are you hearing Losira, colleagues?
No, I am not hearing.
We seem to have lost her.
No, sorry.
But I'm getting her comment on day 1, the way we write it. Liz, I hope you've got it as well, so that it's not just a number, but we are also able to convey some message regarding the theme that we were pursuing that day, which can be done. The photos.
Prof. Mangeni, I'm no longer hearing her.
We have also lost her. We have also lost Professor Mangeni.
Yes, and power has gone
I think it was a fluctuation at Makerere, because I went off, but then I'm using a MiFi, and now power has kind of gone off. So I think the fluctuation here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think what we are saying, I think I also like Losira, what you are saying, having a theme for the day. Has everybody dropped off?
No, I'm still there.
Some of us are here.
I was saying, I like your suggestion of having a theme. It makes it even more smart and maybe attractive to the interest, specific interest of for particular people. Maybe we could maybe adopt it or put something there and see how it comes out.
Yeah, and I think
those at campus power had gone off, but we are back. Sorry about that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
and I think if we. Yes, I was adding to what Professor Grace was suggesting. If we adopt that thematic focus, then we will need a short write-up under each of the themes sort of pitch what that day is focusing on, not just a theme on delivering, gender or looking at gender and its relevance to agriculture, but writing something under that so that that short write-up speaks to the content that comes in each of the subsessions that will follow.
Okay, I think that's a great idea. And initially, how we did it, we had a roadmap where we know that, let's say, on day one, we start with conceptual clarity, we go to personal reflections, but we hadn't expounded it a lot, and that's something we can look into.
Yeah,
Great.
my internet is about to get off, except, power has come back.
All of you,
Good.
where are you where that power is going on and off?
Makerere.
Makerere, oh yeah.
Aye, 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 aye. Where I sit these days, when the power goes, the generator comes on automatically.
Okay. So maybe as we wait for Margaret, we could look at the CABI publication guidelines. And I think it will answer some of Lucera's questions and suggestions about the formatting, about the pictures, and many others. Okay, so CABI requires us to get permission from the authors of any works that we cite or any figures that are cited in text. And here I'll open, I can start with permissions guidelines. Okay, these are small fonts. Please confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, the screen is on.
Okay. So it is quite a lot, and we linked it in the terms of references for you to read and decipher through, but I'll go through some of them. And if you also notice that for phase one, the level one that was published, most slides were trimmed because most had external content that we didn't get permission to use. So in case we must retain some, let's say graphics or tables that are outsourced from other published works, we need written permission. And here they say that if we wish to use material that has been published or owned by other authors or rights holders, and it can be text, it can be poetry from websites, pictures,
Elizabeth, we can't hear you. I think power.
Looks like a challenge at Makere there.
I think so.
and has not been, or if the material has been published in the public domain as open access and preferably with a Creative Commons license. All these are explained further. So we'll request you that you take some time to read each of these so that as we write, we align with this formatting so that we don't have the back and forth. It also talks about the copyright information, about some images that we can freely use, and many others. And then about the references, like we shared in the level 1, this took a lot of our time because most references weren't formatted as per the guidelines. And here they give us some tips that we need to ensure as we write. We should not use numbers. We should ensure that all references cited are listed. And if we aren't sure of the references, they even ask us to send them a sample and they can guide appropriately. So they have the different citations for the in-text and later the reference list using the different referencing systems as shown in this document. How we reference the book is not the same way as how we reference, let's say, a journal article or personal communication and manuscripts that are not published. They show us the reference style. We need to arrange them in alphabetical order. We need to italicize where applicable, as they show us here. And they also go ahead and give us some examples. Let's say if it is a journal article, it should appear like this. If it is a chapter in a book, proceedings, some unpublished works, and others. Again, we request you to take some time and read through this so that the editing and writing is aligned with this referencing style. Thank you so much. I don't know if Prof is back and she can take it on from there.
Elizabeth, most of those links in my letter were not working, or is it my computer or something?
Oh, okay, that's a bit strange. Is there any
really
other person who found hiccups? I could.
So if you could resend, I wasn't sure whether maybe, I don't know. Maybe
Okay, I can resend.
I
I can resend, but it's an open folder, open for
okay.
all of us. Yes, but I can double check that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Prof. Mangen is not yet back. Any questions, again, as we wait, or any thoughts may have about the referencing guidelines? Over to you to
Well,
share.
I saw in the referencing guidelines when there was a statement, especially at the beginning, that they use Harvard referencing style. I don't know whether that is what they are saying. Because if it was Harvard, then, you know, if you have a computer that has Mendeley, it will sort a lot of work. Let's go on in-text. In-text citation, yeah, that first bullet, cite reference.
Yes.
References using the Harvard system.
Yes.
I don't know whether that is equivalent to Harvard referencing style, but if you've used Mendeley Reference Manager, the moment you select that reference style, it sorts all the other things that are talked about downwards, but I don't know whether that is the case.
Yes, I think that is a great tip. But one issue we've found is that we are not able to use Mendeley in Google Docs. I think there isn't a version that is compatible currently. And
Yes,
that means one may have to download and again upload in the folder after the formatting. But we had created links and advised that you work in the drafts for easy retrieval for us. But if you find that it is better to download, format, and then upload again, that is also acceptable.
So you wanted us to work on the Google Docs?
Yes, please. For example, I can open we had put a sample here. And when I open it, it goes directly to the links that we had shared with you. Again, this is a sample and it was for gender concepts. Please disregard the others. So this was done already. The authors are there. The session title is there. An introduction is there. And we request that you look at the introduction in case it is existing. And in case it is not, especially for the new sessions, then you can write this really brief. And then we also populated this table, the learning outcomes, the appreciation. So what you would need to do is to work within this document that we shared with you. So you come and write the training guide like we saw in the level 1 manual as Prof was presenting. And then these are the references. We pasted them as you shared them in the slides that you used during the course. So what you'd need to do is to format, to align them with the CABI guidelines, but we pasted everything here that you used. And then you'd go to the slides for the session. Again, the link is also there. You just click on it and it takes you to the slides that you used for any edits and where there are pictures that like something like this. It doesn't, you may require permission to use this. So in case it is not, just highlight. And then if we can cross-check with CABI and get permission or find out why it was published, then we can retain it. If not, unfortunately, we may have to remove it. So in short, we request you to work in this template that we shared with you.
Liz.
Yes, please.
I have, I think, 2 or 3 comments on that. One is, for example, if I deleted that slide, I don't know, I was going to think that probably if I delete such a picture, maybe I put a comment, because this is a trainer's manual that we are thinking other people can use to train the way we train. That I can be training people on gender concepts and transformation. I get these very slides and I can use them. So if I just delete the slide, won't the flow be lost? Yeah. So if I delete it because it doesn't, the photo may not permit me, would I add a description that probably one would need a photo on A, B, C, and D? Because you said in the level 1, you deleted a lot of content. So I'm just thinking the person who is going to try and adapt the slides to use them, won't they be lost? Won't they fail to see how these different things connect if we keep deleting many slides, for example?
Yes, you are right. And actually what you've said is what we did in level 1. We deleted many photos, but gave descriptions of what an ideal photo would look like to guide the trainers, in case they can find something related.
Okay.
And for this, actually, we request you that you do not delete directly. If you're not able to get permissions, you can just highlight, and then maybe PMT before submission, we can look at each of the slides and see what we can delete. But at that level of you writing and editing, we request that you don't delete, but can just highlight.
Yeah, I think that will be helpful, because at the end of the day, someone may fail to connect things.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
All right, Liz, in that line of thought, you're suggesting that if the picture I used earlier does not have a referencing or a clear source, then I should highlight to you that I'm failed to find a source, so this may need to be removed. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And maybe then I put some other description that offers what I wanted to convey with the picture.
Yes, please.
If really still necessary. Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. Any question regarding the referencing guidelines or pictures?
Just thinking about getting permission. Is it you who look for the permission? Is it me who is writing, who is going to seek for permission? Is it CABI? Who is asking for permission to allow that a certain picture be used?
Okay, ideally it is the author that seeks permission, but we can agree internally and do it centrally. Maybe I can do that. You can alert me and I do that. So that we do it centrally.
Okay. You also talked about text when we were talking about permissions. You included among the list of things we need to ask for permission for, you included text. I don't know if I was using a book published by Vantebia and I have a sentence I'm quoting from that book and I have shown the author and the year and etc. Do I need to ask for permission?
Okay, I'm just looking
No,
at the...
that is standard. I don't think you need permission for that. As long as you have referenced the person, otherwise we shall spend hours seeking reference for very many other concepts.
Yes.
I think in standard publication, it's okay, as long as you have referenced showing this is where you are drawing it from. Unless if you are maybe picking a whole paragraph or a whole page, then there you need permission.
Yes, and I'm screen sharing what is written there, where we need permission and where we do not. So I think it is clear. If it is correctly cited, I think we don't need permission. But if it is an excerpt from books or journal articles, poetry, pictures, tables, information, yes, including screenshots, then we need to ask for permission.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like our time is running out. In case there are any questions, I think we can be available to answer one-on-one in case you may have them. I want to request that we go back to the slides and proceed with the program.
Have we discussed the issue of the timeline?
Not yet.
That's where we are headed.
It's the next. Oh, Prof, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. I came back. I've been listening in actually, and it's good. So we can go to the timeline, Liz, and I think you are still in charge on that one. Oh, the reviewers.
Yeah, and just before the timelines, we have this slide with some proposed reviewers. Steve Cole from IITA, he's the one we've been working with for the Excellence in Agronomy course and has published quite a lot in gender transformative approaches. Marlene Elias is from the Alliance of Biodiversity International and is a part of the gender platform. Vivian Pola works with the International Potato Center. Carol Colfer, I think currently works with ICRAF or CIFO, and she reviewed, I think, one of our competency frameworks way back. Catherine Culverson is based at the University of Florida. Anna at the Pennsylvania State University. Elisa Christie at Virginia Tech. Andrea Allen, we worked with her on a custom course for the Legume Systems Innovation Lab. And for award, we felt Maria and Richard, who are close, can recommend someone who is specialists in pedagogy to review. And the list is ongoing. Please feel free to share with us some proposals.
Liz, in the interest of time, you can proceed to timelines, and we'll be receiving those proposals for reviewers as we go along.
All right. So most of our things here were blank, but it's something we can work on together. What we need to know is that by the end of July, we should have submitted a peer-reviewed manuscript to our funders, so we can work backwards. In the terms of references, we shared mid-May to have submitted the drafts, and then the others can follow. Submission to the platform. Right.
Would the end of May be very far?
End of May, very fun. Again, basing on what Prof shared and what is on, this manuscript will be peer reviewed.
Okay.
And usually the reviewers also need some time to get back with feedback. Yeah, so that's why you had proposed May 15th, which is 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, anyway, my commit was on the just a personal note, because like this week, even what is going on, possibly by Saturday or Sunday, I'll begin maybe reading and doing more work. But this one, I'm just because the medication I have is like you put in every 2 hours and so on, so that it's like I really need to rest the eyes for this period, just this week. The doctor, the doctor has just given me. So I'm thinking that I start like on a Monday or Sunday to look closer at it.
Okay. I think that would be okay. Maybe also being flexible a bit, if we can have all the sessions in by the 20th, we can work with that timeline, the 20th of May.
Okay, that's fair.
That's okay.
Prof. Mangeni, over to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah, really to thank colleagues for sparing the time and accepting to participate in the publication of this manual, and yeah, wishing all of us the best.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
How are you? How have you been? It's a long time.
Yeah, actually, I had chatted and said, oh,